Hey, good evening. 6:03. We'll bring this, actually, we got some presentation recognitions and public hearings, and then we'll do a call to order after that. So first we get to have the good things, and that's, presentation recognition from the police department. So for Officer Brad Lehman, if you could come up, and Deputy Chief Q, if you could come up and make a few words. Start us out. We can.
Your family join me. Thank you. Life support. Good evening. A couple weeks ago, Chief Ferrer and I held interviews for uniform sergeant, along with the police commission, and we had 3 excellent candidates. All known to have a track record of doing outstanding police work. I'm proud to recognize one of those officers whose leadership, integrity, and dedication have consistently gone above and beyond the call of duty. A promotion is not only about rank, it's about trust, responsibility, and the ability to lead others by example. Officer Brad Lehman has demonstrated all these qualities every day for the past 7 years. Through steady judgment, commitment to community, and unwavering professionalism, Officer Lehman has earned the respect of his peers, supervisors, and the citizens we serve. Brad leads with fairness, calm demeanor under pressure, and displays a genuine concern for public safety, well-being of fellow officers. Brad is a member of the department tactical team. He has a specialty as a certified sniper on that team. He's trained numerous recruits over the last 7 years and is a go-to officer for questions and guidance. It's with great confidence and pride that we promote Officer Brad Lehman to the rank of uniform sergeant. We know he'll continue to uphold the highest standards of this department and inspire those who serve alongside him. Please join me in congratulating Officer Brad Lehman.
We're gonna stand over here.
Mayor Steve will now swear him in.
Yes, it was an exciting day for Officer Lehman, soon to be Sergeant Lehman. You guys could put your hand on his shoulders as he raises his right hand and does the swearing in. I state your name,
I, Bradley Lehman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and faithfully discharge my duties
and faithfully discharge my duties
as Sergeant of the City of Cortland Police Department.
as Sergeant of the City of Cortland Police Department.
Awesome. Kind of unique that they're all accountants. I did not know that these were your in-laws till tonight. I was like, you guys got some great families. This is awesome. Excited to have them doing it. We're excited for the future.
And leave the bad.
Yeah, and the pinning of the badge, who got the honors? You know, that's what the big deal is. Yeah, let's do that.
Thank you.
Big round of shake your graduation. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, like it again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You guys can go. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everything, sign up sheets, Andy. So. Yeah, that's right. How's that going? Eric is Katie on.
Would you not see Miss Solomon on yet?
Okay, thank you. just have it to the owner off of them. That's what you need. Okay, public hearing number one, proposed local law to allow common council to set city fees, fines, and penalties by resolution. Second call on the proposed local law, public hearing number one, to allow common council to set city fees, fines, and penalties by resolution. Last call before we close the public hearing on public hearing number one, proposed local law to allow the common council to set fees, fines, and penalties by resolution. Seeing none, we'll close that public hearing. Public hearing number two, proposed local law to establish rental, fire and safety inspections and rental certificate. I do have somebody signed up in this place.
I would just like to read into the oops, sorry, Shannon. I would just like, why is it not? It should be. Hello, okay, down now. Read into record a letter that I sent to all the alder people of it expressing concerns about the proposed law to establish rental and fire safety inspection and rental certificates. And my concern is that just for one section of it, the rental permit law should comply with the existing zoning code, not the reverse. Of interest and concern is the change of the definition of family. And what's proposed is, quote, family shall be any group of the individuals residing in a single dwelling unit. This is very vague to the point of having no value. No other municipality in New York State uses this definition, none. And it does not follow the city of Cortland's existing zoning code definition of family. And many municipalities near Cortland have adopted a functional family concept, which Cortland already has, including the city of Ithaca, the town of Cortlandville, the town of Oneida, the town of Oneonta, the village of Hamilton, the city of Plattsburgh, Binghamton, etc. The common thread among these municipalities is that they have a large student population. And their definitions are used to distinguish between a stable, functional family and household and transient rooming house arrangements. And the city's current zoning code definition does encompass functional families. And a functional family, as you know, has many different aspects. Zoning in general controls the use and size and density of properties. It supports and regulates the community by the creation of a positive environment and growth, property values, neighborhood character, and public services. The current residential districts in Cortland are R1, R2, R3, and R4. Each district has different housing types. With the new definition, none of this will matter. In an R1 district, a single family dwelling unit could have multiple people living in a house based solely on the size and number of bedrooms. My house could fit 14 people by the building code. And they're not using this dwelling as their permanent residence. It would be fine if you were living there permanently. A residence could also be used by a group of people for a short-term vacation rental under this new definition. After all, oops, you're saying my 3 minutes is up?
That's the timer.
Just finish your thought.
Yeah, okay, thank you. For a short-term vacation rental, as they're all, albeit temporarily residing in a residence as a family under the definition, which goes to the concerns about B&B. Cortland has a shortage of affordable housing for long-term rent and for those who are permanent contributing members in the city. This change will severely affect the composition and value of the housing stock. And to sum up, numerous studies have shown people living temporarily in a community are less likely to be involved in volunteering boards and contributing to the general welfare. If this is not their permanent address, they are not voting here and they are still using community resources. So I ask you, how does this new family definition promote the health of the city? And what is its purpose? And so I respectfully ask you that you consider section 103-28 of the proposed law, which is effect on other laws in this regulation. And just give it further discussion, and that you don't vote on it tonight, that you table it, especially since I see some of your members are not here tonight either. I think it just needs further defining and thinking about what's going to happen as a result of this. Portland needs to be strengthened, not weakened. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Fife.
Thank you. I just will remind you, my wife is an architect. She deals with the code department and the building codes all the time, and that's part of the reason for her concern. One of the other reasons why I'm here, and some other people from Pinecrest Drive, is that some time ago, the city refused to enforce their codes. We now have a dwelling that is technically a rooming house, and it certainly didn't meet the definition of family. But this law, the question that I have is that I believe the intent is that any structure in the city with a rental dwelling unit is to be required to have a permit. Why not just make that the definition? There's no reason to change the definition of family in this law. I'd also like to remind you of things that were discussed the last time we were here. We've heard from several aldermen and from the mayor that the cost of legal fees to defend some of the codes has been millions or $1 million. I wrote the insurance for the city of Portland for nearly 4 decades. I handled the city's self-insurance fund that ran for 11 years. I was on the city safety committee for 25 years. And after the last time we were here, I researched about the number of lawsuits involving codes and just lawsuits in general against the city. I believe, in fact, I'm certain that is a false statement that say $1 million or even millions of dollars have been spent by the city defending their codes. And since I've got a little time, I'll just give you one more observation. The city changed their trash program a number of years ago and immediately went over budget. Just from observations on our street, the one house that has 5 roomers in it puts out more trash than there's 5 other houses on the street. It's clear that people in R1 and single family dwellings are subsidizing rental housing for the trash costs. And I hope you that's a separate issue, but please take it into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Raiders.
Hello. Actually, Christine kind of stole my thunder, but she did a much better job of describing the whole issue regarding the definition of family, which I'll repeat again. I'm assuming everyone here has read this entire document and understands all these definitions. Any group of individuals residing in a single dwelling unit. That's it. There's absolutely no other determining criteria. Do every one of you honestly believe that? I mean, is this how you see your family? Is this what you think of Cortland as a community? Just random groups of people living together? This is what you're saying in this document. And this is what people who come into this community, as well as the people living here, are going to see. This is obviously some kind of an effort on a front that frankly just doesn't seem to make sense. There's no doubt that the family dynamic is and has been changing, as has been recognized by communities all over the country. I spent more time than I wanted to looking into family, definitions of family, different areas, different parts of the country. And as Christine pointed out, none of them are like this current definition that's being proposed. But I did find one that, according to everything that I was looking through, is being accepted on both sides of arguments. When I say arguments, people who want to cram more people in a house, people who don't, people who would just like a definition of what a family really is. So I'll read this to you, and hopefully it will help some consideration. Family, networks of people who share their lives over long periods of time, bound by ties of marriage, blood, law, or commitment, legal or otherwise, who consider themselves as family and who share a significant history and anticipated future of functioning as a family. Grace Williams et al., 2025. I didn't write that, I simply wrote it down. If you pass this local law, obviously the average person coming into our community is not going to read this document. They're not going to read this local law. In fact, they're probably not going to read any local laws. But this definition of family as presented is going to be there, and it is going to affect, as Christine pointed out, every single zoning district in this community. Stable housing will be at risk because money can be made by not having stable housing. And the dollar speaks, and you all know that. If you pass this local law as written, as any number of individuals living together, then you're tearing apart the core values that make us a caring community. I ask you to please table this tonight and reconsider at least this portion of it. There are many other things I found that will present lawsuit nightmares far greater than you have seen before. And you need to really consider this entire document. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan Quayle?
Thank you. My name is Dan Quell, and this is my wife Teresa. We live at 25 Lansing Ave. I'm here to voice my concern. I was here on the council when we worked on this definition, and we worked hard and long. And there was a long discussion. There were several people, there was multiple meetings on this type of discussion, this change. I mean, this is a significant magnitude of change we have right here that will require an open discussion of density and infrastructure pressure. Backyards are going to disappear. We have a problem with parking. You say that it won't, but they will disappear because, as Christine said, when you got 14 bedrooms and everybody's got a car, they're going to find room. And they're going to go right in the backyard and you're not going to see it. So, and that's going to continue to put more costs on trash removal. Collectively, our trash removal costs has gone from $600,000 to this year $1.7 million. More occupants will increase the tonnage. Look around you, single families put out one dumpster, maybe one a week. If you look at multifamilies, their dumpsters are exponential. I mean, Jim's absolutely right. You drive around here, and there's 5 or 6 dumpsters
piled with trash. And we are subsidizing rental property. And I think we ought to understand that, because it's happening every day. So when is this administration gonna rectify this and support the single families that are looking for affordable homes? Thank you.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak to public hearing number 2, proposal of a law to establish rental fire and safety inspection and rental certificate? Okay. Last call, proposal of the law. Oh, got somebody? Okay, yep.
I live on Pinecrest Drive. And, I've lived with there almost 40 years, or maybe it's even more longer than that. But, and just recently, a rental unit appeared right next door to us. And then we only have 5 houses on the street, right?
6.
And we've lived there a long time for each, with the same residents on the street. And they've all been families. Or a single person. And, the last 2 years, we've seen, I started counting 100 people just coming down the steps from the college. If you don't know where Pinecrest is, it's right next to the college. And they came down and they were partying and they were yelling and screaming at each other, using the F word and every other swear word possible. And that was at 2 o'clock in the morning. We've seen this several times because the neighbors next door had a party. There's a lot of people going in and out of there the last year that I thought they were selling drugs, honestly. So this is our, my husband and I are retired. We've paid off our house, we've paid our taxes, on 2 houses that we've bought in Cortland, New York. And, your house is something you're proud of and where you welcome your grandkids in and to see that kind of behavior because the house is a rental. We've never had anybody who was unfriendly or rude live on our street for years. That we've all lived there. And we would respectfully ask you to to further define the definition of family. Because if we're getting older, if we sell our houses and it all turns into a party place, like our house is pretty big and could hold a lot of people too. So I think it's would ruin Cortland. And that's why we came to Cortland. We came first for a job with my husband, got a job here, and we stayed because we liked Cortland. We stayed because I grew up in a big city, my husband grew up in a small town, and we liked Cortland. We raised our kids here. And one of my kids just lives in Homer, and the other have, gone to other places, Syracuse and DC, but I would really respectfully ask you to really consider making that definition and not destroy a whole neighborhood. This one house and the rest of us, would appreciate we've kept our houses up and we've been peaceful people. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, you have one online that would like to speak to this, Ms. Caitlin.
I am a property manager, a licensed property manager with a business in the city of Cortland. I'm also an associate broker for a real estate agency here in town as well. Reading this packet makes my head spin a little bit. The definition of a property manager, I think, is one of the biggest issues in this packet and in the city of Cortland. My job requires me to be licensed through New York State in property management and in real estate. I think one of the bigger issues that isn't looked at within this packet is there are so many properties being quote unquote managed by a property manager who in fact is not licensed to do this job, does not hold any sort of insurance, does not hold any certifications, licensing, anything that gives them the ability to actually legally manage properties. And I think that a lot of these things in this packet come down to the validity of somebody's knowledge and ability to do this job accurately with all these issues going on in this point system. I think if the city held property managers or owners to having somebody in town, if they're an out of town landlord, or having that information accurate, I think really where the root starts with this issue. I know that I've addressed this with City Code many times. I know I pick up my phone as soon as they call if there's any issues, because I honestly care about the representation of what I'm managing, and I don't want it to be looked at as a problem for single family residential owners. And I think there are so many landlords, whether they're self-managing or, I mean, there's very specific property managers and companies in this town that are recognizable by city code and by many people in the city of Cortland. And, you know, I think it's a little worrisome that we're kind of not brought into the city of Cortland code enforcement. If somebody called me in and said, I want to know your client rent roll, I want to know what properties you're managing, I think that combats your registration certificates, the fees associated with that. I'm just curious to know how many of these properties are actually not certified as being registered with the city of Cortland. So I think with this packet, it's putting an extreme amount of pressure on code enforcement, who already has so much to deal with. I think this is just making so much extra work where the root really isn't looked at first by identifying all these properties that should have rental registration. Who is actually managing these properties and are they licensed to do so? I think once you start taking a look at that information, and if these people are not registered to do this, there should be a system where, you know, I have to turn my license into the city of Cortland and I'm on a list that, you know, could potentially manage a property. I am licensed, I'm insured. I have all of the things that I need for the state to be recognized to do this job. And I think that if those were the things that the city really put into consideration, I think a lot of these things maybe wouldn't be really big issues that we're seeing now. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to speak to this? Proposal of the law to establish rental fire and safety inspection and rental certificate of compliance. Okay, we'll move on to public hearing number 3, proposal of the law relating to property tax levy authority. Again, proposal of the law for public hearing number 3, the proposed tax levy authority. Last call, proposal of the law relating to property tax levy authority. We'll close that public hearing and go to the last public hearing number 4, proposed 2026 city budget. Anybody here to speak to the proposed 2026 city budget? Public hearing number 4. Last call, proposed 2026 city budget. Hearing none, we'll close out public hearing and now we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Barker. Here. Councilmember Gilman is not present. Councilmember Lane.
Here.
Councilmember Conlon. Here. Councilmember Carpenter. Here. Councilmember Beckwith. Present. Councilmember Michaels. Here.
We can all rise to the salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse me, Councilmember Silliman is present.
All right. It's been fun.
Good to see you.
Okay. Anybody here to privilege of the floor and public hearing, anybody for privilege of the floor? Okay, so then we'll go right to the mayor's report. So on the fifth, we had the life hospice event, thanks Mr. Beckwith, that was a great event in Homer. Operation Toy Train came through on the sixth at 1:30 at the community center. Shop was a cop, there was 62 kids were able to participate this year, thanks to impactful donations from everybody in the community. I was able to follow the caravan over to Walmart, which is an excitement in itself. And then went to Walmart, and what a great experience that was to have the Walmart employees all clapping the kids as they came in. It meant a lot to the police officers. It's a great thing for the police officers and for the kids, so it was a great thing. I want to bring, to attention on the 12th, we lost a pillar for our community, Dave Yeaman. He's the founder of CRT and community arts in the Homer there, and shaped a physical and economic landscape in our community through his investments in our community. It started off with his father, Jim, and then he continued on. He was a lot more quiet about doing it, but he has definitely been missed. He's a mentor to myself as long as others. And then we had the menorah lighting on the 14th, so in a partnership with Rabbi Hecht. So that was a great event. It's always great to see what they've done. On the good news side, we received a permanent grant for $5,000 for a new washer and dryer for the fire department for Station 2. So they can wash the turnout gear there. So we have different locations to be able to do that. That was something we just received on the 15th. And then coming up, we have the downtown holiday window painting contest that runs the 16th through the 28th. So that's online judging. Parker School ribbon cutting tomorrow for the new playground at Parker School and the gym. So that's at 1:30 tomorrow. Derek, I thought that was earlier. Yeah, 1:30 tomorrow. Yes. So that's a Parker School. So get a chance to go over there and see what's been done over there. It's looking great. And as much as, others have said it, and it looks nice over there and it's getting some good use. The Cortland Community Center holiday lighting judging, I'll be doing that tomorrow evening with them. And then our New Year's Eve, which is the first time we've done that, starts at 11 on New Year's Eve day, 11 a.m. With live broadcast, a lot of stuff for balloon drop, a countdown with X101's gonna be there, Beacon Skiff, cider toast, all kinds of events kind of happening down there. And then the ball drop, of course, at midnight on Main, the ball drop and the fireworks at midnight. So the ones that can't stay up hit noon, and the ones that can stay up hit the later one, that would be great. So that's what I have. So we'll move to ward reports. One.
Well, I don't have anything really to report Ward 1, but I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Mayor, for appointing me in June, serving my short 6 months here. I've had a ball doing this, and I've had a lot of excitement, learned a lot of the city, and I really appreciate everything that was given to me.
It's been a pleasure having you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Ward 2, Ms. Sillen.
We had some excitement in Ward 2, actually technically Ward 3. I understand that police apprehended a felon who was sheltering in a home on Clayton Ave. And I really appreciate their efforts to keep the city safe and arrest that person. Also, just today, I got news that there are beavers building a dam under Otter Creek Bridge, under Groton Ave. In the past, this is something DPW is taking care of. So I will be in touch with Mike at DPW to talk to him about how he can get his crew together and take care of that problem. I really regret not being able to come to a lot of these public events, to any public events. I'm just not allowed to because of my illness. But I look forward to joining you guys someday in the future. That's it.
We look forward to having you for sure.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katie.
Ms. Lang.
I received several phone calls, emails, snail mail, regarding the upcoming, discussion on definition of family. So I will be talking about that at that time. College kids have gone home, so traffic is, much better now. Getting out of my driveway anyway. So things pretty quiet before.
Thank you, Mr. Collins.
Things have been cold and snow, but I think that's the whole city. Looking forward to discussing the budget. Thanks.
Mr. Carter, all quiet, Mr. Dragwell.
Just a reminder about fire hydrants. I think they bring it up every year. If you have a fire hydrant on your property, please keep it clear. If you're unable to do it, make a phone call. So the fire department out today, you're doing some, but just remember that fire hydrant can protect your house as well as everybody else's, so. If you need help doing it or whatever, and same with the sidewalks. Yeah, well,
Thank you, Mr. Michaels.
A few emails regarding the adoption of our local law number 8. Regarding the same thing, a definition of. I've read that definition over and over again, and one thing that definition does make quite clear, it does not discriminate against anyone living in these properties. As many of you recall, back when we tried to adopt this years ago, college students were basically the target at that point. Overcrowding of these properties. And I just wanted to point out that it kind of what I'm leaning towards tonight. And that's kind of what I've been telling the individuals that have reached out to me. So that's all I have for my word for. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Going to agenda item number 1, adopt local law number 7 of 2025, authorizing the common council to set city fees, fines, and penalties by resolution.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council adopts the following as local law number 7 of 2025, removing specified dollar amounts for fees, fines, and penalties from the city code, granting the common council authority to set and modify such charges by resolution of the council.
Thanks for the motion. Mr. Beckwith, Mr. Carpenter, any questions or discussions?
just real quick, I think some of that I've read through quite extensively and not to drag this on, but I think we talked about it before. When can we change this? Anytime, or we don't want to get into it?
Yeah, just set up on resolution.
I just think some of the fines, for example, shoveling sidewalks should be a lot more heftier that encourage people rather than $100. I think it's
right.
That's all.
Wherever any of these could be adjusted.
Right, yeah. I'm just pointing that out. Some of the other ones, most of them are pretty good. Mix and all that, but it doesn't decide me to, well, it doesn't even on the sidewalk, but you show anyway, but just, I think people just, unless it's a hefty fine, I don't think it's very clear some of them.
That's
all, yeah. Just as long as there's some leeway in case people are away or.
Yeah, I mean, there's always exceptions. I mean, we're always usually pretty good, but
yeah,
after these storms, you'll see a lot of them. We have a lot of people in wheelchairs now and they're handicapped. And I saw a guy get stuck the other day over on the corner of Main and Tompkins and Port Watson. I was getting ready to pull over and a good scared and jumped out of his car. He was going to the diner and come over and gave him a push. Yeah, because they're not keeping the stuff clear. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll see how it goes. All right.
Anybody else? Can move it, please.
Councilmember Parker. Aye. Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 2, set 2026 schedule of city fees, fines, and penalties.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council adopts the following as, excuse me, jumping ahead here. So many pages. Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council adopts the city of Cortland schedule of fees, fines, and penalties included with the meeting's agenda supporting documents, which shall become effective January 1st, 2026. And be it further resolved that the city clerk shall publish that fee schedule on the city website, make print copies available at city offices.
Any motion? Mr. Carpenter, Mr. Meckler? Any questions? Can I move it, please?
Councilmember Merker. Aye. Councilmember Silliman.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter. Aye. Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 3, adopt local law number 8, 2025, establishing rental, fire, and safety inspection and rental certificate of compliance.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council adopts the following as local law number 8 of 2025, relating to rental, fire, and safety inspections and certificates of compliance.
Any motion? Motion put on the floor. Discussion.
Discussion.
Yeah,
I,
but I didn't get a motion.
I'll move on discussion.
Okay, perfect. And a second? A second. Discussion.
I'm not gonna be able to support this.
Okay.
With that definition of family. With Mr. Reener's, the Reener family owns student housing that, in my opinion, is just kept up beautifully. And if so many people who have property, and I believe we should talk to this, Oneonta and Binghamton and all the places that also have college housing, and see how they define family.
Could you come up and just, I'd be nice to address some of the questions and some of the concerns that were brought up as well. I think it's a good time to talk about it so we can,
Sure. I hate to lose sight of the bigger picture over the definition of families. I understand it's a big issue, and I am new to the area, so I certainly didn't live through the battles that went on with it before. The definition of family as it exists today, it's very broad and it would be pretty easy to overcome. It talks about a traditional family. What is a traditional family in today's day and age? I would hope that as a city of Cortland, we're not saying that we only want to rent to married men and women, and that's what we're excluding it to because we're saying it's a traditional family. I don't think that's what it is, but we don't define what a traditional family is. It gives a lot of other terms like permanent. What does it mean to have permanent residency there? If somebody comes in for 2 semesters.
guys, can we just let's hear it out so we can hear the whole.
And that's the problem. We talk about not 2 semesters. That there is on its face not being uniform in the application. The definition needs to deal with it, whether it's 4 nurses that are coming in and renting a house to work at the hospital for 6 months, or whether it's a student coming in to live there for 2 semesters. I have no problem reworking the definition of family. The goal of this law was not to undermine the definition of family. That definition has not been enforced by the city for the last 4 years. It's problematic. The rooming house definition is even more problematic. If you read the rooming house definition, on its face, it makes no sense whatsoever. You can't read it and apply it. If you take the rooming house definition word for word, it says any group of people living in any multiple group of buildings can't number more than 10. So if you live on Tompkins Street, apparently you and your 3 neighbors can't number more than 10 because it doesn't tell you, it doesn't say on a single parcel, in a combined unit of properties. It's just, it makes no sense on its face. So that's why we needed to change that. What this law actually does is the code department has been doing a great job, in my opinion, keeping the properties to task, trying to make things neater. I can tell you since I've been here, they've been coming up with new and creative ways to try to make neighborhoods better. I think probably for the first time, maybe in the city's history, when we had a party in a residence, they not only wrote the tickets for having a party, they wrote a ticket for being over occupancy. You think, oh, over occupancy. Over occupancy is the bigger ticket. That can expose them to 15 days in jail and a $1,000 fine for every party. There's nothing in the city code There's nothing in the city code right now that does that. So we're using tools like that to combat that. When we've had problem properties, we've worked with the landlords to work through that. This law comes up with a point system to control the certificate of rental compliance and allows the code office to review what's going on at that property to determine if that rental compliance certificate should stay in place or not. Our laws is today for the rental permit law has very little teeth if people aren't registering their properties. It also doesn't do a lot to collect information that we need. The rental permit law doesn't collect a floor plan for the property. This law would. This would allow the fire department, when they go to a property, to know what the floor plan is, to know what's being used as bedrooms at night, to know where they should expect to find people. It's going to get code enforcement in to every rental unit in the city, so they can do a safety inspection to make sure that every rental unit has fire extinguishers if they're required. Every rental unit has smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, and that all the other code things are up to date. We have a number of rental units in this city that are classified as a 1 or 2 family that are being self-certified by the landlords. Thankfully, we have a lot of really good landlords and most of those properties are okay. But getting code in there to go through those properties and make sure that they're being maintained properly is key. We're moving from a paradigm that the city has practiced of reactive compliance-based approach to a proactive community risk reduction approach. This is getting out there and dealing with problems before we have it. There's a number of other things it does. There's also provision in this law that will protect buyers of properties, because right now there's not a good mechanism in place for them to check and see if there are open code violations. This creates that. It will also allow, because there will be some teeth to not having your certificate of compliance, it will allow us to have increased compliance rates. Right now, according to our tax records, we have about 600 two-family properties in the city of Cortland. Of those 600 two-family properties, only 130 of those are currently registered as rentals. So we have a huge non-compliance rate, or we have 470 properties that are both sides occupied by the same family. So I don't think that's because people don't want to comply. I think most of those people have no idea they even need a rental permit to rent out half of their house. So I mean, those are all the things that this law will address. The family definition, keep it as it is, change it, come up with a new one. I would strongly encourage us to come up with a new one. I think a lot of the things are problematic in it. You know, when you have undefined terms like permanent, transient. Most people would not say somebody that lives in a community for the majority of 4 years as a transient, which most college kids do. Granted, they may live on campus for 2 years, but that does not look like transient. Having hoops for them to jump through, like having a driver's license that says they live in Cortland. They can go on the internet and in about 30 seconds with DMV update it to say they live wherever they want to. They want to say they live on Long Island when they go home for the summer, they can change it again. So we need to have meaningful things. One of the other things that says cook together as a family. I mean, we're in a society today where half the families don't cook, half of them do takeout all the time. So cooking together as a family, you know, it doesn't seem like it applies today as much. And additionally, we're a pro-housing community, a certified pro-housing community. And as we have a housing crisis in our state and nation, we need to look at creative ways to alleviate that. We're going to see more and more situations where you have 3 or 4 young people that are, you know, professionals, teachers, nurses, things like that, that can't afford to buy a place on their own. So they're going to choose to rent a place together. Most people would probably say if 4 nurses that work at Guthrie want to rent a house, we think it's grand and they should do it. But we have to make sure we're treating the 4 students that want to rent a house exactly the same way. This law does that. Regardless of what the definition of family is, we can work through that. But I want to make sure that we focus on what we're really trying to do with this law. The gal that spoke on the behalf of the landlords about the property managers, from her lips to God's ears, if every property manager was licensed, I think it would be the best thing ever. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. It's certainly something we could look at as a city, but we have a number of property managers that aren't licensed. Property managers and landlords that have invested in this community for long-term are usually good landlords. Absentee landlords that live in New York City or New Jersey or something like that tends to be more problematic. Rarely do they have a local property manager that's licensed or even professional. I deal with it every week when I have Monday morning court with code, and the folks that show up at property managers, she's right, they're not professional, they can't understand the law. A lot of them don't understand, what's going on. I think that most of them are nothing more than a phone number that can be answered, so the people in New York City aren't bothered, and then they call a repairman locally to come in and fix what's wrong. Professional property managers would be great. So that being said, I just don't want to lose sight of all the good things we can do with this law. Take the definition out, amend it, come back and work on that in another month or so, great. But the law itself does so much good, it gets us moving in the right direction. I would hate to see us wait another year to roll that out, because it's gonna take us 3 years to implement it anyway, because we have to go through a full rental permit cycle, which is 3 years.
Randy, do we know what other cities do about student, the Oneonta, Binghamton?
Every city has tried it. Some cities have been more aggressive with it than others. I mean, if you look at the city of Ithaca, they're extremely aggressive when they come to the codes department.
But what is their definition of family? Have they defined family?
A lot of them have removed the words like traditional. There's a wide range of what the family is defined as.
I agree, you can't say traditional family, mom and mom, dad and 2.3 children. But to have 10 people living in a 10-bedroom house, which we have a lot of big houses that landlords can rent to. I'm sorry, I don't consider those 10 people living together as a family.
And Delhi was mentioned, and that's a really good city to mention or village to mention, because their SUNY campus has grown exponentially. We have been very lucky with SUNY Cortland. They have done controlled growth. It has grown, but we haven't seen a 40% raise in enrollment in 1 year, which is what Delhi saw. There, because limited to 3 people and tried to do that, they've seen a giant sprawl of student housing because of the lack of student housing. So what they're seeing is almost every house that comes up for sale is being turned into a student rental. Because the kids can't get housing near campus, they're commuting 45 minutes to an hour just to go there. So when a house comes up, it becomes student housing, no matter what neighborhood it's in. So to some extent, it's a balancing act. It's making sure that the neighborhoods maintain their integrity. It's making sure that the neighborhoods have a quality of life, but it's also creating a density that prevents a sprawl of student housing. If anything, I think since you can say that this is not the result of not enforcing 3 unrelated, because there's a ton of factors to come into it. We were coming off COVID and this and that, and the other thing, and everything else. But if anything, I think you've seen a retraction in the footprint of student housing over the last 4 years versus a sprawl. The mayor probably can give better facts than I have because he's been here for the 4 years. But I don't think the 3 unrelated law had prevented sprawl. I don't think it's created sprawl, not enforcing it. So I don't know that it's had a real effect either way. So I think coming up with a system that addresses these quality of life of issues, because the quality of life issues, the parties, the things like that, that's what we need to address. We need to stop. If you put 10 students in a house and they're the 10 best students, or it's 10 nurses or 10 teachers, because the governor's come up with some new program that allows us to have more teachers per student or something like that, and they need housing, we're probably not going to get the complaints. I mean, you could have 10 rowdy teachers, I suppose, too. But as a general rule, students tend to cause more problems. So that's the population we normally deal with. I mean, when I have noise complaints, 1 of every 10 might come from a non-student housing unit. I mean, they do come from non-student housing units, but they're much less likely. You know, house parties, they're only student housing units. I mean, so far, I mean, I suppose I could get one that's not, but so far they've only been student housing. So I understand that student housing is a major concern. We need to control it. And we need to make sure that we're doing it in a uniform manner that doesn't discriminate against the 4 nurses that live together or the 4 teachers that live together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think 3 unrelated is the way to go, because you have landlords who have houses with 10 bedrooms, and they're not gonna have 7 bedrooms empty. So, I mean, it's not necessarily the 3 related, but I'd like to know what other college towns have, what they do.
There's a large mix. And just because a lot of the towns or cities have them on the books, does not mean they're actively enforcing them. There's a number of towns that have said it's not worth the fight. So I mean, there's a lot of things that are on the books that are no longer enforced.
And
Katie,
please add something. So I've lived on Pleasant Street up by the college for the past 20 years. And I think what we have is a communication problem. You may have done a lot of work on this, but it's not clear to people who are worried about their neighborhoods how this will preserve neighborhoods. It's not clear to me how it will preserve my neighborhood, which has degraded over the past 20 years. Upper Clayton Ave is an R1 district, and it used to be predominantly owner occupied. Now it is predominantly student rental. And people say, oh, change the zoning. Why should it be R1? It's rentals now. That's how you get this degradation. And that's what other people are afraid of having happen to their neighborhoods. That's what the people in Pinecrest are afraid of. They see it happening with one house, and they see the potential for other houses to flip. And I really liked what the property manager woman said. We do need more professionals to care about the properties that they're managing and to be more hands-on. And that would greatly reassure people in the neighborhood. I can't vote for this because I don't think that we've rolled it out well enough to the constituents of the city. I think they need to see the big picture and how it fits together. Right now, the fear is that it's going to make it easier for landlords, even if the fines and everything are in place, and that it is going to make it harder to maintain neighborhoods, the quality and the character of neighborhoods.
Given that we're open to reconsidering the interpretation of family, I'd like to motion to strike 10328, set another public hearing on family and occupancy, and move forward the rest of the legislation.
Okay.
Well, 10328 is actually the section that says that this law, the most restrictive law, should apply. There's Roman numerals underneath there. You want Roman numerals from?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
So we got that cleared. That's a motion to make that amendment. Can I get a second on that?
I'll
second.
Strike numeral
103-28. Numerals underneath it.
Are we still having a discussion, or was it closing at this point?
Well, we can still, we'll have discussion. That's an amendment. Have a discussion for sure. I'd like to make a couple comments too, so I think we should do that. So I got a second, right?
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor for the amendment change? Okay, so we'll continue the conversation. You know, we sat back, we were talking to the readers now. I know Mike was on that board. We talked about all these things in the fund system and trying to get the merits with local communities and thus years ago, we're trying, that's what all this, that's where this all developed from. You know, and over the time and period that we've seen the sprawl that Katie was talking about, you know, there was a time and period where it was exactly what Randall was alluding to in other communities where Golden State was growing, we had some dormitories that were being remodeled and done, and now we're kind of on the other side of that, where the dormitories are, now they're gonna build another one. The dormitories are occupied, so now there's a need, there's empty student housing now, not as much as there used to be. I was a zoning board chair prior to, this position here, and, I sat in front of the Supreme Court and for a couple different cases that were brought up about this, the families and what's unrelated and grandfathering and those are all considerations we really need to consider about all of that. So that was, some of the wording came because, the grandfathering in and just trying to get that, so everybody had a rental permit, everybody's on a fair shake. There's a lot of two families that are stretched into more, it's the quality of life issues that we really have been focused on in the code office. And that's why we've had a lot less complaints and a lot less problems, and there's still a long ways to go, but then we get left out with the teeth that we can grab a hold of some of these issues and some of these problem areas that we've done. Other than, we haven't really had any more. We got back on Lincoln. We're able to get back single family homes back in there. And one of the single family homes, I can think of, I listed a bunch of them. There's one on Alvina with 4 nurses on it, but there's a house on Lincoln Ave that has a couple that is not married. They bought the house and the way they can afford it is to rent out 2 rooms. So, I don't know that they define as a family, and I think some of that needs to really be considered. I think we can probably get into that. And then it has to tie into our zoning code, which Christine brought up, which is a very good point. And that is something we're looking to develop as well. So we can get some of that zoning code. And I think a lot of the issues that everybody's having in their communities, whether it's backyard parking up on Clayton. But if you go back to Clayton, even the issue that Ms. Sullivan was talking about in her ward report was not student housing. So we have these issues. We have these quality of life issues that span across the board. And I think we need to address all of those as we can, and without somebody winning a court case that we're picking on them because they're student housing or they're otherwise. So I think that maybe addressing that part of the law would be great.
So we should address the code issues before we move forward, or the zoning issue before we move forward with this thing.
No, we need to do that. This would be our tooth behind it, and then the zoning would follow. Because we're doing our strategic plan right now. The strategic plan is offset from us. And that's gonna be a complicated issue. I think Jim was involved with that. I was as well last time, and that was quite the mess. And some of it didn't get the way we thought it was adopted when it was over. So it needs to be really reviewed and get to, I think you set up the apple before the cart, whatever. So, but this should be going forward first, so that gives them the teeth they have to seek that compliance. Again, we can address it, but this is what's been working for the last 4 years. And I think we can continue on with that. Anybody else?
I think a lot of us have lost sight regarding our code office. Our code office is much larger than what it used to be. And those individuals are much more aggressive regarding approaching violations and issues within the city. We're supposed to have in the budget this year, another code officer to assist with the existing ones. And I didn't see that in the budget, where Roy didn't express an interest of getting another person in that position, which would strengthen these changes much more than what they used to address in bad.
So to adapt to that, we did get the non-office code office people to take up more for the inspections and to help boost up to get these, whatever number we're up to for the 2 families that are not in compliance. And the ones that are owner certified, which are our mainstay to our fire calls, is those ones that are owner certified. So the majority of our calls are to them for fire, and so that would enhance that.
Yeah.
Having that happen.
And having property managers that have a local contact has always been an issue. Especially off-site managers or out-of-state managers. Having a current phone number to be able to reach, that's always been an issue too. I would like to find the means to really strengthen those issues there.
We have trouble with some local landlords that own, I mean, we have, they're not responsive.
We can hold it permanent.
Yeah, well, that's the way all of them agree with this.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the things the new law requires is for all property owners to provide a good phone number and a good email address for them when they sign up for their inspection. And if they
Yes.
have a local manager to provide the same thing.
That's been the goal all along, but it doesn't always work.
Then they won't get a certificate of rental compliance.
Well, there you go.
Everybody else? Okay, so we'll move the amended. Right. Yeah, move it with amended resolution. Take out that, so that code enforcement has the ability to enforce it once they're concerned with it. Anybody else? Okay, move it, please.
Did we get a motion in a second on the,
Yes.
but then on the motion itself?
I'll motion it to a vote as a unit motion.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Merker.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
So this is voting for the amendment?
Yes.
Yeah, with the.
With
Okay,
the whole context of the amendment.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 4, adopt local law number 9 of 2025 relating to property tax levy authority.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council adopts the following as local law number 9 of 2025, authorizing the override of the tax levy limit for fiscal year 2026.
Any motion, Ms. Lane? Carpenter, any questions? Again, we just do this out of. Make sure that if we did some math wrong or something, but we don't anticipate it happening. Okay, move it please.
Councilmember Merker.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith. Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 5, adopt 2026 city budget and tax rates.
All right, the resolutions in here are very lengthy. I will leave out some of the administrative conferences and kind of get to the heart of them here. Resolved that the 2026 general fund budget is adopted in the amount of $28,916,487.93, which sets forth a general fund tax levy of $11,251,198.88 and a tax rate of $12.87 per $1,000 of assessed value. And be it further resolved that the 2026 water fund budget is approved in the amount of $2,612,029.83. And be it further resolved that the 2026 wastewater fund budget is approved in the amount of $5,050,663.93. And be it further resolved that pursuant to Article 21, Section C 2112 of the city charter, 4 copies of the adopted 2026 budget shall be certified by the city clerk, with 1 such copy to be filed in the office of the mayor, and 1 each in the offices of the Director of Administration Finance, City Clerk, and 1 placed at the Cortland Free Library, and available electronically and at city links.
Any motion? Michael, Beckwith, discussion.
So in January of 2024, the council moved unanimously to pursue a review from the state over our finances with the financial restructuring board. From my understanding, that was never pursued. It would have given insights as to the city's finances and provided some potential guidance as well as grant as to how to improve the city's financial state. I would just like an update on what occurred with that. Did the council hear back on that?
I think we might have reported about it, we discussed it, the restructuring board, we went to them and, you know, they haven't been as active as they were, I don't think they've had a meeting 2021. We have any record of, but when we communicated with them, we needed to get our ducks in a row, we need to have our AUD done, we need our financials in, we have an audit, our current audit done. So, it was recommended by them to, when you get that all review that, they would look at it. But they typically they don't look at like necessarily our financials in that level of detail. The audit does by the comptroller's office. But they'll look at like IT services and who you're in IT services, trash services, how your trash services, how you're at, you know, how you're doing that. You know, I think some of the ones we read into, they were, you know, installing LED lights. We've done all of those, you know, was one, I think, Amsterdam was a city they had done and they.
1.6 million in grants, potentially.
And they did about tearing down a building. One was, you know, some of the money was that if they sold the golf course or sold the building that was on their golf course. There's things, those kind of items that would give them towards, you know, efficiencies, maybe new lighting, LED lighting, help get a grant towards that. That's why we went for it, you know, but we needed to have our finances in order to be able to do that. So that was 2024.
In January 2024.
Yeah, so we were hoping that by this year we would have that, be able to get that done in time to be able to get those audits in.
The reviews also could provide some guidance like collective bargaining, so I think that's another area where not having it was detrimental to this budget process.
Well, it would have been nice to have a record, we had all of them ready to go, didn't have it, yes.
So will we be pursuing this in the future?
As soon as yes, absolutely. We have been in contact with them as soon as we get everything in order, and we get our AUD done and our audit done in a timely fashion, which we're working to do this year. That's been diligent, we're gonna try to get that ahead of time, that's then we'll submit it to them and they'll follow.
I appreciate that. Given the council actually passed it, from my understanding, has not been really followed up on. I will be voting no on that, but I do appreciate the explanation.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Given that the council unanimously passed to pursue this, and from my understanding, it hasn't been clearly conveyed to the council what happened from there. I don't believe the council was given the information it requested. And because of that, I question whether or not we're making sound decisions on this budget when we could have had insight as to how to restructure it, as well as grants. So I will be voting no, but I do appreciate the explanation.
Okay. The council went through every, since what, October? Yeah, October 15th, when we released the budget. After that, we went through the budget line by line. Was there a process that we could do better? Is it reason?
Yes, including from having gotten that second opinion from the state. The then financial director for the city, when this was passed, spoke glowingly about how it was a great opportunity for a second opinion from experts at the state and outside entity that could shine some light on things.
And they're looking for efficiencies, right? That's what they do. They don't.
Yes, and cost savings from that, any savings we may have realized would have offset cuts or other things in this budget.
Gotcha, okay. Anything else? Okay, well, with that, I think, any other questions on the edits that had made on the budget that we got documents on? Let us have any other questions for it? No? Okay, move it please.
Councilmember Merker.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Nay.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Nay.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Nay.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
The measure has 4 ayes and 3 nays. Fails for lack of a majority.
Okay. So just so everybody's in record, so that it'll revert back to the mayor's budget. For the beginning of the year, we'll have to regroup and we'll have a meeting set up. We'll set up a meeting in January, I guess, and figure out we'll have continual meetings till we figure out what we're gonna cut and, where that's gonna go and, come up with a game plan for that. Okay. Agenda item number 6, authorize special wastewater assessment and adopt 2026 rates.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council does hereby levy a special wastewater assessment in the amount of $1,351,846 to be applied to debt services, and be it further resolved that the common council does hereby adopt the following schedule of wastewater rates effective April 1st, 2026. The quarterly minimum charge shall be $40.30 per unit. That is no increase, same as last year. And the unit charge above 10 units is $4.03 per unit. Again, that's a level rate from last year. And be it further resolved that the city clerk shall publish said rates and charges in the city of Cortland's official newspaper. End of resolution.
Any motion? Mr. Beckwith, Mr. Carpenter, any questions on this? Okay, move it, please.
Councilmember Merker.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Authorize special water assessment and adopt 2026 rates.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council does hereby levy a special water assessment in the amount of $785,846 to be applied to debt services, and cause this resolution be published in the city's official newspapers. Be it further resolved that the common council does hereby adopt the following schedule of water rates effective April 1st, 2026. The quarterly minimum charge will be $43.09, representing no increase over last year. The unit charge above 13 units is $4.30 per unit. Again, no increase over last year. And in both this and the previous resolution, I have an extra resolved about publishing it, so I'll make that correction.
Any motion? Ms. Lang? Mr. Conlon? Any questions? Okay, move it, please.
Councilmember Merker.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 8, authorize special stormwater systems assessment and adopt 2026 charge.
Resolved that the city of Portland County Council does hereby levy a special assessment charge of 93 cents. Per foot of street address frontage of each property parcel located in the city to be included within the 2026 tax bill for stormwater system preservation, maintenance, repair, rehabilitation, reconstruction in accordance with the final 2026 tax roll. And be it further resolved that the city clerk shall publish said rates and charges in the city of Portland's official newspaper.
Any motion?
Motion.
Collins? Second. Beckwith, any questions? All right, move it, please.
Councilmember Merker.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 9, confirm mayor's appointments to boards and commissions.
Resolved that the city of Portland County Council does hereby confirm Mayor Steve's appointments as listed below. Being reappointed to the Board of Public Works for a 3-year term to end December 31st, 2028. Teresa Quayle, Alan Riccatelli, Mary Lou Boardwell. Appointed to the Ethics Board for a 2-year term, Julie Ray, Bersani, Karen Leahy, Gary Van Gorder, Randall Lewis. Being reappointed to the Fire Commission for a 5-year term, Chris Hotchkiss. Being reappointed to the Historic Commission for 3-year terms, Chris Ryan, Kate O'Connell, Richard Stott. Being appointed to the Planning Commission to fill a vacancy for a term ending December 31st, 2031, Amy Boggs. being reappointed to the planning commission for a term ending 2032, 7-year term, full term. Mike Swartout, being appointed, to fill a vacancy on the zoning board of appeals for a term to end December 31st, 2028. David Merker. And, being reappointed to the board for a 5-year term, Kyle Davis.
All right, any questions? Or we're gonna have a motion, I guess, this week? Okay. Mr. Carpenter, anybody have any questions? Can you move it, please?
Councilmember Merker.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 10, sorry, thank you. Adopt city medical cost reimbursement policy.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council hereby adopts the medical cost reimbursement policy effective immediately as the official procedure for processing claims under the mandate of resolution number 182 in 2025.
Can I get a motion?
Motion on that.
Mr. Conlon, can I get a second? Mr. Beckwith, any questions? Okay, move it, please.
Councilmember Merker.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter. Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 11, approve event permits for New Year's Eve party and midnight on Main.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council hereby authorizes, or it does hereby approve permits as described below for issuance by the city clerk. The event, the first event is a New Year's Eve party, December 31st, will take place 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. On Main Street in between Grand Ave and Central Ave. Main Street will be closed from Grand Ave to Central from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then later in the day, midnight on Main, taking place from 10 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. on Main Street, between Port Street and Tompkins Street. Main Street will be closed between Port and Tompkins from 10 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. And from the intersection of Main, Tompkins and Port Watson, going in a 1-block radius on each of those streets, will be closed from approximately 11:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m.
And a motion? Ms. Lane, and a second. Mr. Carpenter, any questions? Can you move it, please?
Councilmember Merker.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 12, set a second public hearing for CDBG grant Micros Enterprise Assistance Program number 285 ME 564-24.
Resolved that the city of Portland shall hold the required second public hearing for the CDBG Micro Enterprise Assistance Program grant on January 6, 2026 at 6 p.m. immediately prior to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Common Council in City Hall, 25 Port Street, Portland, New York.
Any motion? Motion. Mr. Carpenter, Mr. Fallon. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Who will speak? What's that? Excuse myself. Yeah, I think we're on 13 right now. Set a public hearing for CDBG grant ladder truck replacement grant for number 285 PF 133-24.
Resolved that the city of Portland shall hold a required second public hearing for the CDBG ladder truck replacement grant on January 6, 2026 at 6 p.m. immediately prior to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Common Council in City Hall. And just to make a note that the amount of the grant for the ladder truck was 1 million, not 1 billion.
Any question, or if we got a motion?
I'll motion on that.
Mr. Conlon, Mr. Carpenter, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Agenda number 14, authorized memorandum of agreement between the Cortland Police Department and the Groton Police Department for use as a polygraph equipment.
Resolved that the city of Cortland County Council is hereby authorizes Mayor Steve and or his designee to execute a memorandum of agreement between the Cortland Police Department and the Groton Police Department for the mutual use of polygraph equipment.
Mr. Collins, Mr. Carpenter, any questions?
Cheyenne, we got a polygraph operator now or no?
Yes, retired Sergeant Johnson.
Oh, you still-
Oh, perfect. So this will
Same
be,
question.
so they're gonna use our equipment. We can send our, and they'll do it. That's how it- It's a good way to do it without having to train somebody to know. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay, move it, please.
Councilmember Merker.
Aye.
Councilmember Silliman.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 15, accept and recognize donations to the police department.
Resolved that the common council hereby accepts and appropriates the donations listed below and expresses its sincere gratitude for the generosity of the donors. Mrs. Imbascati made a donation in the amount of $200 to the K-9 program. I believe that's the third donation she's made this year. Precision Electrical made a donation to Shop with a Cop. All the following have made donations to the Shop with a Cop program. Judy and Lynn Decker, $50. William Olsted, $75. Judy and Lynn, sorry, that's a duplicate. Eve's Broadcasting, $150. At JMS Plumbing and Heating, $300.
Take a motion to accept. Mr. Collins, Mr. Carpenter, any questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those carried. All right, so one last thing, I'm gonna ask for, one executive session, for possible litigation. And I would like to get a motion to move that.
No motion.
Mr. Conlon, Ms. Lane, Mr. Carpenter would have to request that you not go for that. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll be going executive session. I don't expect anything after.
It's got to be something else there.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go on here again.
We're allowed to pause the recording for us, right?
Yeah,
There's a pause.
Yeah. That we will, pause the audio or pause this. Or we'll take people in waiting list.
Yeah, so we're still live here. We have muted.
Okay, for those folks that are participating via video conferencing Zoom, we are going into executive session. When we come back into regular session, we will unpause the recording and the video and audio and open that back up into the open meeting, so you're welcome to stay tuned.
We have a motion from Mr. Beckwith to reconsider, agenda item number 5, adopt 2026 city budget tax rate.
We need to.
Ms. Lane seconded that, and certainly you can make a comment if you want to.
I just I don't know if we need to make a revote, or I just like to take my name to EA.
Okay, so we'll do a revote. I think it'd be appropriate. We did a roll call vote. We'll do another roll call vote and to move that forward. Okay, anybody else have any more discussions about it? Okay, so we'll start with Ward 1.
Yeah. Okay, so to following the roll on agenda item number 5 to adopt the 2026 city budget and tax rates. Councilmember Merker.
Aye.
Councilmember Silliman.
Aye.
Councilmember Conlon. Councilmember Carpenter. Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Okay, I guess I'll,
So, the motion is approved by a vote of 5-2.
all right, we'll see everybody at the vault, right? So we'll get there, you're Brian coming, both will be first. And we'll have a motion for adjournment.
Now I'll see you at the fall.
Mr. Conlon, Mr. Murphy, thank you.
Thank you.
All in
Thanks a
favor?
lot, Dan.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Hi.
Whatever, I made the motion to adjourn.
I think I may have.